Yo, welcome back to another episode of This Thing of Ours. I'm your host, Tevin Emmons, checking in, man. Mr. Motion Films is back. I've been on hiatus the last few weeks. I know a lot of people been asking me what's going on with the show, but we've been on a little break trying to get things in order. A lot of moves been happening in the NBA the last couple of weeks as over the weekend the NBA free agency opened up. A lot of guys on the move, a lot of money is being thrown around. But we are gonna get right into it, man. As of today, the Atlanta Hawks are finalizing a 4-year, $120 million contract with guard DeJounte Murray. His agent Rich Paul told ESPN's Brian Windhorst the Hawks acquired Murray in a trade with the San Antonio Spurs in last offseason. Also, the New Orleans Pelicans are covering EJ Liddell's contract from a two-way contract of a full deal. Sources confirmed to ESPN's Andrew Lopez. Liddell's contract is for 3 years with a team option on the final year. The Sacramento Kings are acquiring Indiana Pacers guard Chris Dort for two second-round picks, as the Pacers will receive a 2028 second-round pick from the Dallas Mavericks and the Kings 2030 second pick. Also, we have free agent guard Aaron Holiday has agreed to a 1 year deal with the Houston Rockets. Holiday averaged 3.9 points in 63 games with the Atlanta Hawks last season. And earlier this morning, the Portland Trailblazers are matching restricted free agent Matisse Thybulle. He's signing a 3 year, $33 million offer sheet from the Dallas Mavericks, as was reported by Adrian Wojnarowski. The deal has a 11.5 million player option for the third year. Last night, the Philadelphia 76ers, they are signing former Orlando Magic and former Los Angeles Lakers this past season. Free agent center Mo Bamba, he's signing a 1 year contract with the Sixers. Bamba was just waived by the Lakers as free agency began. And a big trade. Boston Celtics have been moving around some of their top players, as Marcus Smart is now part of the Memphis Grizzlies. Derrick Rose is now back in Memphis, as he will be backing up Ja Morant until he returns from his 25 game suspension. So I think that was two solid guards they could get, one defensive and a former MVP of the league in D Rose. I kind of wish Derrick Rose came back to the Bulls, but we got a lot of guards here. It's, obviously, Alex Caruso, Ayo Sumo, and Kobe White is staying with the Bulls. He signed a 3 year deal. Vucevic signed an extension and a 2 year deal extension for Andre Drummond. And yesterday, it was a three-team deal that went down. The Dallas Mavericks have agreed to sign Boston Celtics now formerly of the Celtics forward Grant Williams is now a Dallas Maverick, as he will be signing a 4 year, 53 million sign and trade agreement. The Boston Celtics will receive two future second round picks via Dallas, while the San Antonio Spurs will now acquire former guard Reggie Bullock and swipe rights in the 2030 draft from Dallas. Um, a couple waves went on yesterday. Garrett Temple was waived by the Pelicans, and Orlando Magic have waived fan favorite Bol Bol, the son of the late great center Manute Bol. Um, James Harden update. The Sixers would love to keep James Harden. Daryl Morey obviously was down in Houston with James Harden, so they have an illustrious history together. Daryl Morey said earlier this week that if there's a way, as the summer goes on, we will try to convince him that they still can make this work out and that they have a chance to compete, as they are still possibly in the runnings to get um, Portland Trailblazers All Star, now wanting out of Portland, Damian Lillard, possibly the Philadelphia 76ers is one of the teams that he could before the season ends. Bradley Beal is now a part of the Phoenix Suns also. And I'm kind of conflicted on that move because I think Bradley Beal is going to take a lot of pressure off of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant as teams will, want to lock in and double team these guys for them to get in the ball. And I think Bradley Beal will be an all-star this upcoming year. Um, what else we got? Oh, right now, Summer League. Tomorrow, the number one and the number two overall pick will be taken on each other for the first time. Victor Wembanyama will be playing in the summer league right now. A couple games are on. We got the OKC Thunder. They are taking on the Utah Jazz on ESPN right now. Victor Wembanyama will be taking on Brandon Miller, the Alabama standout. He watched the first two games of his summer league career. Um, He had an 18-point game last night. I think they lost to the Golden State Warriors um, in a blowout in fashion. The Lakers, man, have they been arguably they've won this free agency. I think I give them an A+ for effort. Shout out to Rob Palinka and Jeannie Buss, the whole Lakers organization. They've done a great job. Gabe Vincent is now a Los Angeles Laker, the former Miami Heat guard. He signed for $33 million. Also, cannot forget about the one and only AR-15 himself. Got that 50 mil. Austin Reeves is staying in LA. And also is Rui Hachimura. He's staying for 50 million as well. So the guys that helped the Lakers get to the Western Conference Finals, um, two young studs, they will be very helpful this upcoming season. Um, it's going to be a great year for the Lakers. They also signed Minnesota Timberwolves forward Torian Prince, and yeah, I think Gabe Vincent is going to be key. He had a great year with the Miami Heat. It didn't really turn out that good in the finals, but he had a strong playoff run for those guys, knocking out Milwaukee and Boston and the Sixers. I mean, Milwaukee, the not Milwaukee, but the Bucks and the Knicks in the first and second rounds of the playoffs, as well as the Boston Celtics. So he was big in those series, helping Jimmy Butler. But right now it's a whole debacle with Damian Lillard in Miami. The Heat want him. Sounds like Portland doesn't want to trade him to Miami. They trying to get another team involved, or they're gonna wait till the season starts and trade him at the trade deadline right before All Star break or whatever the case may be. But who knows, man? I personally don't want to see Damian Lillard in Miami. I don't think Miami will be very mediocre now that they lost Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. And possibly you'd have to give up Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and more than likely Kyle Lowry, but he's probably still under contract for one more year. Um, this upcoming season is going to be interesting, man. Could this possibly be LeBron's last year? You know, maybe, maybe not. A lot of people, LeBron is still playing at a high level, but they really need Anthony Davis to take the crown of running the Lakers now. He needs to be the face of that team moving forward. He's 30 now, I believe. So AD needs to get his body in shape. Hopefully, he's doing that this summer as we speak. He needs to get in great basketball shape and come back healthy for this upcoming season for 2024. Um, Marcus Smart, the Celtics, also the Celtics been on the market. They've been moving a lot of guys. They just signed O'Shea Brissett from the Indiana Pacers. Bruce Brown, who was one of my favorite players on the Denver Nuggets for this championship run, he just signed a big $50 million contract with the Indiana Pacers. They also gave Tyrese Halliburton an extension. Um, LaMelo Ball signed a 5-year, 260 million contract, and the Timberwolves also resigned, gave an extension to Anthony Edwards, who to me is the face of that team. A lot of people were saying that possibly Karl Anthony Towns could be on the outs, but I wouldn't move him at this point in time unless he just gets off to a bad start. But as I was watching First Take this morning, um, before I went outside for a little bit, uh, big it was interesting that Stephen A. Smith said that if you see the Dallas Mavericks get off to a bad start this year, this upcoming season, Luka Doncic might be one and out. You know, he's trying to win. He's been there. It's about to be his fifth, sixth year in the league. He's trying to win. He was in the Western Conference Finals last year, and they didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Just a year, 2 years removed from the Western Conference Finals. You know, Jason Kidd has done a hell of a job coaching that team. Making Luka one of the top 5 point guards in basketball. Luka is one of my favorite players in the league. He's a top 10 talent when he's healthy. When he's lost a lot of weight, and it's gonna be interesting, man. Now that Kyrie's there, Grant Williams is there. They moved on from Christian Wood. You still got Finney Smith over there, so it's gonna. I mean, not Finney Smith. A couple other guys that they have, like Maxi Kleber and those guys. But I still think the Dallas Mavericks are maybe two pieces away from being in the contention of winning a championship. So you know, Boston, man, I think Boston is still a favorite to win the East now that they got Kristaps Porzingis, a former All Star. You know, KP is very young in his career, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But this has been an interesting free agency, man. Kyle Kuzma got paid; he deserved it. Jordan Poole, Chris Paul trade last week. Chris Paul is now in Golden State. This might be his last final chance of winning the championship. And I would have rather that the Golden State Warriors, Mike Dunleavy Jr. is now the GM of that team. He stepped down. He took over for Bob Myers, who just stepped down about a month or two ago. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see how Chris Paul fits on that team. Obviously, he won't be starting, but yeah, um, I was very surprised that that trade happened because I still think Jordan Poole had a chance to redeem himself. You know what I'm saying? I even though he played terrible in the playoffs in that Lakers series. Um, I thought eventually him and Draymond they would have patched up their issues, but I don't see why I think he just was trying to get out of the shadow of Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond. I think it was time for him to be on a team where he actually could run the point and not have to play backup to Steph Curry. Because playing behind Steph Curry, that could be very nervous for a lot of guys and very challenging at times, especially when you're losing. As the Warriors did not have a great season, especially on the road. They lost a lot of games on the road this past season that just finished. And me personally, I still see the Denver Nuggets being a team to beat next year. I think the way Jokic is playing right now, Jamal Murray, they are arguably the best duo in the NBA right now, outside of maybe who could say maybe Tatum, Jason Tatum, and Jalen Brown is the other duo that come to mind, or Steph and Clay when they're healthy, shooting threes all over the court. But and maybe you could say Giannis and Drew Holiday or Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were healthy, but and AD and LeBron. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens this coming season, man, because I feel like the East, we already know what teams are gonna be 1, 2, and 3. I think you could say easily Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, or Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, and Miami. Those are gonna be the top four teams, and then after that you have the Knicks, you got the Atlanta Hawks, obviously maybe the Bulls, and then and a couple other teams maybe. Toronto is obviously, you can't sleep on them. But I think the Indiana Pacers are gonna move up into that 6, 7, 8 spot now that they got Bruce Brown and Tyrese Halliburton. And the Indiana Pacers did pick up some decent, guys. So um I think in the West, Um, New Orleans, obviously, I think Sacramento Kings will be one of the top teams. I think, Sabonis got a big payday at the beginning of free agency. De'Aaron Fox had a great, great season. Keegan Murray, he just had a big game at Summer League last night, dropping 41 points. Davion Mitchell. So they got a lot of hoopers over there on that team. Malik Monk, a lot of Harrison Barnes got paid. I was very surprised that Russell Westbrook didn't get a big payday, as a lot of guys was getting paydays. If Dylan Brooks just got $80 million, there's no way in hell you could tell me Russell Westbrook couldn't have got a 15, 20 piece for all the things he's done in the league. This guy was the triple double king the last 4, 5, 6 years in the NBA. Plus, he's a former MVP. So I thought it was very disrespectful that the Clippers offered, Russell Westbrook, especially with Eric Gordon leaving. Eric Gordon is now part of the Phoenix Suns, as well as Utah Watanabe from Brooklyn. He's going over there with KD, former teammate of KD when he was in Brooklyn. But I thought it was very disrespectful that Russell Westbrook got $8 million, and you got guys like Brand Fleet just got 130, and Dylan Brooks just got 80 million. So it's kind of crazy, especially with a team like uh Houston. I think the Rockets definitely got some decent free agents. I think they'll be a team that maybe they could be fighting for that play-in tournament next year alongside, the guys like the New Orleans Pelicans of the world and different teams of that nature. But if I had to make a prediction of who I think will be a top 4 or 5 seed in the West, it's definitely going to be Denver. I think with Ja Morant missing these first 25 games of the season, it's going to be tough. But I still think I would say right now, Denver, the Lakers, the Warriors, the Clippers. Um, nah, scratch that. I'll say Denver, Sacramento, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors, and probably the Pelicans and the Mavericks, if I had to say. And then, other teams are to come up for the playing tournament as well. So um it's gonna be interesting, man. I think the Rockets could possibly be fighting for that playing tournament, as they did the last couple of years. But yeah, man, that's just a quick free agency update, man. I don't want to be too long winded. I know you guys missed me the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to tone in the gym, what I'm saying, get my big dog status on. Shout out to Jordan Brand for the tank top, what I'm saying. Um, they got some tournament. Nike has a tournament going down this upcoming week at Whitney Young High School on the north side. So tune in. We got some young girls and young guys in the city. Some of the top high schoolers in the city. They'll be battling it out in a tournament fashion. Um, Check out Summer League right now. Some Summer League games on tonight. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Damian Lillard. Hopefully, I would love to see him playing with Joel Embiid. But they'd have to give up James Harden or Tyrese Maxey or both, which I don't think that the Sixers are going to do that, because they already said Daryl Morey already stated that he doesn't want to give up Maxey. But I mean, if you know basketball, if you're trying to win a championship, especially in the East, you're trying to compete against the Boston, Miami's of the world, you're gonna take Damian Lillard over Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Tyrese Maxey can go start and be the leader of that Portland Trailblazers team alongside number 3 overall pick in Scoot Henderson. Anthony Simons will probably still be there. They just signed Jeremy Grant, just got 125 million last week. So it's gonna be interesting, man. But I don't want to be too long with it. I just want to tell everybody happy belated 4th of July. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and hope everybody's having a great summer. I will be back next Thursday live on StreamYard. Y'all can check me out on all my social media sites. Hit me on Twitter at QuickDrickFuego. Hit me on Instagram at Mr. Motion Films, and you can follow me on Facebook at Tevin Hemmings, and on Instagram at Mr. Motion Films. Signing off. Y'all have a great weekend, man. Get money and drink water. Stay safe. Peace.